Hello again, welcome back everyone. LiquorHound here with you, and thank you for joining me once again for another Spirit Review video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest release from Laphroaig, that being the 2022 Cairdeas. Now it is known as Warehouse 1. Okay, now Warehouse 1 is the iconic Laphroaig warehouse where they age up all their whiskeys right along the seashore. Big white painted building with the big black Laphroaig lettering on it. You Google Laphroaig, you're going to see that image, alright? That is where every one of these barrels came from for this blend. There is a no age statement on it, so we don't know exactly how old they were. They do let us know that each and every one of those was a ex-maker's mark bourbon barrel. The Warehouse 1 being right there along the seashore, we should pick up more of a briny character to it, so I'm really eager to see if that's going to come through. This bottle has been open for a couple of weeks. I tasted it initially, thought it was in a pretty good spot, probably could use a little air. So here we are about 2-3 weeks later, so we're going to see how it is. Now, for comparison's sake, and typically I would do this on my Patreon channel, that's patreon.com/LiquorHound, where I like to give a lot of bonus content for my subscribers there. But what I want to kind of compare this to, because this is just ex-bourbon barrel Laphroaig, and that's what this is. This is the 2015 Cairdeas, 200th anniversary edition. This one's bottled at 51.5% ABV, so we're going to do a little side-by-side action to see how they relate to one another. But the Laphroaig Warehouse 1 over here is bottled at 52.2% ABV, so a little bump there. Retail pricing on this one is going to be about $100 to $125. To whereas this one back in 2015, I want to say we were picking those up around $65, $70 for that one. But you know what? That's the sign of the time, so no big deal. Alright, here we go. Laphroaig Warehouse 1 on the nose. Ooh, nice. It's got a little bit of a punch on the nose. The first inhalation, I was kind of getting this really kind of creamy Laphroaig characteristic pretty standard. You pick up a little bit of that lemon oil essence in with that big heavy kind of peat smoke. Fruit wise, it's kind of stays on the lighter orchard complexity. Pears, apples, little cherries in there. I'm searching that edge of the glass now. A little bit of a mint tea. Big heavy that kind of medicinal Laphroaig that we're all used to. That's in here. Earthy peat smoke is in here. It's not super meaty. Some kind of roasted nut, and I'm kind of leaning towards cashews on this one, which is kind of unusual, but I love cashews, so let's go with that. Nice sea brine characteristic coming through, almost like sea pebbles. Almost, yeah, that's really, really nice. But to me, it's that lemon zest in there, that lemon oil in there, that kind of adds a little brightness to everything. Yeah, there's that mint again. Nice. Okay. We're going to go ahead and taste it right now, since we're rolling on it. Here we go. Oh, okay. Really nice and solid there. Medium viscosity, good solid viscosity. Second sip, I get hit with the plums. I get hit with like a little bit of a, wow, it's transitions. Little plum, little apple, little pear. You get that cherry essence in there. Kind of hits early, gets a little creamy vanilla, and then all of a sudden, bang, you get hit with this big Laphroaig punch of that big, heavy, medicinal, kind of heavy peat smoke vibe, like you just get driven by it. The peat smoke, it feels like, I almost feel like it aches to be meaty, but it's not quite meaty. It just reminds me of a really nice seaside campfire. Maybe you got a cast iron skillet on there, you got a little cashews in that skillet, and you're kind of roasting the cashews. I like that little creamy vanilla intro that it has. and it kind of leads you right into the fruit, and then bang, here comes that impact. Spice driving up on the mid palate, really nice. It's a mixed combination, baking spices. Starts getting leathery. A little bit of cocoa driven on the back end, a little cocoa shaved on top. Little tobacco, little old leather in it. It's got a little bookish character. I like that. That lemon zest, that's kind of a characteristic nowadays. I think they get a lot, is in there. But it almost has a little bit of like a, I would say like forest floor, like a little moss, a little dried dead leaves. It's got a little bit of that going on, so that peat kind of really comes through, almost like you get the campfire smoke, you get this unburnt, earthy peat note onto the palate. Very, very good. I will say that. I like it. It's pretty much, yeah, it's what you'd expect. And it being right there on the seashore, you pick up enough of that characteristic. All right, so now we're going to compare it to the 2015. Here we go. On the nose. Good grief. That's a beautiful nose. It is much sweeter on the nose. It's not jumping right to the peat. This one actually kind of sweet vanilla beans, even driven higher than what this one was. Almost like a, yeah, how do I describe that? Almost like a custard, like a creamy creme brulee up front on this one. A little bit of an orange blossom water in it. You do get a little bit of that mint, a little bit of a eucalyptus twinge in here. White chocolate in this one. Nice kind of peat is in there, but it's not like super heavy. Stays really clean burning. I do pick up a little bit of that lemon in with that orange oil. It could be just that orange blossom kind of thing mixing in with the fruits. Almost a little piney. That's an unusual note there. Alright, but let's taste it and see if that all comes through. Medium-high viscosity. Yeah, like that was fantastic. Inners, again, that kind of creamy vanilla. You get those kind of baked apples, baked plums, baked pears, medley of fruits right there up front and early. The little cherry tone is in there. You get all that, and then it starts going almost, it almost hints at an herbal characteristic, but it's actually just kind of that minty tea, that little eucalyptus note in there on the mid palate. Little baking spices layering underneath those. And then you start getting this really, that orange blossom water that I mentioned shows up just after the mid palate. It starts getting a little floral, not super heavy, but if you're familiar with Bowmore characteristic, if you're a fan of them, you're going to pick that note up kind of right there, just after the mid palate heading into the finish. Then the peat starts kind of waving in, and the peat, it never really, it doesn't announce its arrival as brightly as this one did. This one kind of punched you. Here it's kind of like little waves of peat smoke wafting in, but you're so focused on the fruits and the little floral tones and that vanilla character, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, okay, yeah, there's peat rolling in here, by the way. But it's a very clean smoke, just like it knows. I love that one. That is fantastic. Now, if I can't find the 2015, but if you do see it on the shelf, you should definitely pick that up. But if you can't find that one, I'm going to go back to this one really quick with a rinse. Just a little more research for you. Here we go. Yeah, if you like Laphroaig 10, is that a better buy? Yeah, but it doesn't have this punch, right? this has some impact. So if you can spare the $100, $125, and you see the warehouse one on the shelf, I think it's a good pickup. The peat is dominant. It shows up really nice on that back end. I really like the smoked cashew element, so that's really unique. Everything else about it I really enjoy. That really nice brine. So I mean, they highlighted that coming from that warehouse, and it really does show up. So I hope you enjoyed this video review. Again, if you can, join us over at patreon.com/LiquorHound. You're going to get all these reviews ad-free. You're going to get the private review library over there. Tons of other little things that I do. But I appreciate each and every one of you, regardless of platform. So keep leaving all those great comments. I will get to them just as soon as I can. Everyone have a great day, and cheers.